Let's Talk Forgotten. This Netflix series came out in 2017, directed by Jang Hang-jung. And this movie was hailed as having one of the best twists. So I had to watch it. And I know it came out in 2017, so I'm late to the game. But let me give you a quick general synopsis of the film. It stars a young guy and his older brother. Something happens with his older brother. He gets kidnapped and ends up coming back. But when he gets back, he is not the same. And his younger brother has to uncover a mystery of what's really going on. So that's the short synopsis. I will be getting into spoilers soon, but I'll give a spoiler warning. I will say this movie, yes, I agree, it did have a twist I did not see coming. But I kind of wasn't a fan. I'm not a fan of movies just doing a twist just for twist's sake. I wanted to play into the entire story a bit more. As in, you can't tell the story without the twist. The story only makes sense because of the twist. You know, think Christopher Nolan's movie The Prestige or The Sixth Sense, movies like that. When you think of movies like Straw by Tyler Perry, like that, twist was kind of pointless. Like twists like that I don't like. So with this movie, it was a bit too many twists for me just for twist's sake. So with that said, spoiler warning, spoiler warning, spoiler warning. So let's do a recap. So you have our main character, Jin Suk, and his older brother, Yoo Suk. So Jin Suk is 17. It takes place in 1997. And Jin Suk really, really adores his older brother. His older brother got into some sort of accident, so he has a limp, but he still adores him. He admires him and really looks up to him. So the film starts with all of them, Jin Suk, Yoo Suk, and his parents all in a car, and they're heading towards their new home. Once they get there, Jin Suk seems to think the home seems a bit familiar, but he brushes it off. And once they get in there and they start unpacking, there's one room that's left vacant. So Jin Suk is asking his father, like, what's up with that? His father just says, don't worry about it. The previous owners left some things in there. So just, don't go in there. So later that night, Jin Suk hears something going on in that room. So he gets scared and goes over to see what it is, like walking slowly towards the door. And then boom, his brother like startles him out of nowhere. So Yoo Suk suggests just going for a walk instead of worrying about the room. So they walk and talk for a bit, and then their father calls Yoo Suk to come back home. So Jin Suk waits for him there. But after a little while, he starts walking back, and then he sees his brother getting kidnapped. All he can do at that point is memorize the license plate. So the next day, the detectives question Jin Suk, and he gives them the license plate, and they reply, it doesn't exist. And he tells him, yeah, you're tripping. I know this license plate. I know my brother. I love my brother. This is the license plate. Whatever. They're not very helpful. So the family worries and waits for days, and then suddenly Yoo Suk comes back unharmed. But he can't remember what happened to him. So then Jin Suk notices his brother is acting strange. He's limping on the wrong leg. He's sneaking out of their room at night. And I did forget to mention, Jin Suk does take pills. So his brother was like, you haven't been taking your pills. Like, that's all that's going on. I haven't been sneaking out. Like, you're tripping. Take your pills and you'll be fine. He also starts to have like these dreams, these creepy dreams about that room. He's always hearing things in there. But once he takes his pills, everything seems to be okay. Until one night, his brother does leave out. So he decides to follow him. Once he follows him, he notices that he's walking with no limp. So suspicions confirmed. And then he follows him some more, and he sees him meeting up with those unhelpful detectives from the beginning. So now he knows something's up. So he goes to tell his parents about it, but then he overhears his mom talking about him on the phone, and she's just spilling the beans on everything. So first plot twist, that is not his family. Dun, dun, dun. They've all been lying. So he runs away. They all chase after him, but he ends up making it to the police station. Then we get plot twist number 2. He is not 17 years old. He's actually 37. And it's not 1997. It is 2000 and whatever. I forgot. So he looks at himself in the mirror in the police station and he sees that he's actually an old man. So he is really freaking out, like, what is going on? So he goes back home for some answers. And when he gets home, he hears some music playing from that room. Then he goes in and finds mannequins on the floor, and they're bloodied. There's a knife. There's blood everywhere. So that's when his family all enter the room and tell him everything. So they tell him 20 years ago, there was a young girl and a mother that were unalived in that same house that they're in. And that Jin Suk is the unaliver. But due to a dissociative amnesia from this traumatic event, he doesn't remember any of it. So they have been hired by the family of the deceased to get him to admit it. So they tried everything. They tried torture, they tried hypnosis, nothing worked. So they wanted to recreate the scene in that room and hypnotize him into thinking it was 20 years ago, so that it could jog his memory. They also had him taking those pills, which would help with the hypnosis. Yusuk didn't even get kidnapped. He just ended up getting arrested randomly. They just so happened to arrest him at that particular time, which is a little convenient. So Jin Suk explains to them he is not the killer. And then a chase ensues. They chase each other. There ends up being a crash, and it looks like Yusuk is passed. It looks like he's gone. His fake family, they are gone. They have been unalive. So then Jin Suk suddenly gets hit by a car right then and there, and then he gets taken to the hospital, and he's in a coma, and that's when he really remembers everything. So we rewind back to when Jin Suk was actually 21, and he was in the car with his family, and there was a huge accident, and his parents got unalive right then and there, and his brother fell into a coma and was bedridden for about 1.5 years. So he's been taking care of his brother's medical bills. He's been speaking with the doctor constantly, like, do what you can for my brother. I will try my best to scrape up some money somehow, but do what you can for my brother. So he's desperate at this point. He turns to the internet where someone tries to hire him to unalive a woman, and only the woman and not her children. After a day, he reluctantly agrees. He's desperate. What else is he going to do? So he gets to the woman's house, and then he starts to get scared and gets full of regret, and he's not wanting to do it anymore. He turns to leave, but the daughter sees him, and she sees he's got a knife. So she starts freaking out, screaming. He's telling her not to scream, and then he'll leave, but she's going crazy. So it just happens so fast, he ends up unaliving her on accident. So then the mother, of course, she hears all the screaming. She sees what happened. She's fighting to get the knife. They're both fighting. And then the mother accidentally gets unalived as well. He's just on a roll. So then he's trying to get out of there. And then he runs into a little 5-year-old boy. And he tells the little boy, because the little boy's like, where's my mom? He tells him, look, just go in your room, count to 100, and your mom will be there. Then he leaves. Before he leaves, he sees a family photo. And that's plot twist number 3. His brother's doctor is the father who's in that family photo. So he goes to find the doctor. He goes to the hospital. The doctor's on the roof. So he goes up to the roof to confront him. The doctor is so upset. Like, I told you specifically to unalive the mother only, not the children. You messed up. So now you got to go. Like, he's like, I know you're struggling with money. I was struggling with money too. This is why I hired you to do this. So and he said, you messed it up. Now you got to go. And your brother is going to be unalived as well. So they start fighting. The doctor starts choking him. And he accidentally falls off the roof, the doctor. So again, Jin Suk is on a roll. He has unalived this entire family. And now he knows his brother is going to be no longer with us as well. So I can understand why he forgot all this stuff. I mean, it was pretty traumatic. So he comes to in the hospital, and his fake brother is right there with him waiting to unalive him with some sort of injectable something, a lethal injection. So before he's about to inject him, Jin Suk tells him, I remember, please tell the family I'm sorry. And plot twist number 4 or 5, I didn't forgot now, that his fake brother ends up being that little boy that he told to count to 100 and wait and his mom would come back. So this is why he's so anxious and desperate to get answers. because Jin-suk has ruined his entire life. So he is relieved that Jin-suk has finally admitted it, and now he wants to know, was my father up to this? Because in my research, I found that my father got a bunch of insurance policies out of my mother. So Jin-suk lies, tells him no, it's not. He doesn't really believe him, but he looks kind of at peace a bit, a little sad. So then he says, you know what, have a good life. He leaves, he walks away somberly and jumps out a window and unalives himself. Jin-suk is so distraught with all of this trauma on his hands that he also unalives himself with that lethal injection. And if there wasn't enough twists, there is one more twist. We go way back to before the car accident, before they even got in the car, Jin-suk's family. They were at some park, and just so happened, fake brother and the doctor, that whole family, they were also at the park. So the little boy actually went up to Jin-suk way back when, like they actually met then, and the little boy tried to give him his lollipop, and he was like, no, and it's all happy, and that's how it ends. This movie had way too many twists. Too many twists. I will say this, when I rewatched it again, I was kind of into it. Like there is some suspension of disbelief when you're watching a movie where you're like, okay, I'm willing to believe that this guy just accidentally unalived an entire family, like by accident. Like when you really start to think about it, it doesn't really make much sense. But when you're in it, you're in it. So when I watched it the second time, I was like, okay, I am like kind of really into this movie. It is entertaining. But me being a movie critic, I thought about it too much, and I was like, I really hate all of these twists. The twists were just for twist's sake, and I kind of didn't like that. So I will be giving this movie a 6.5 out of 10. It was very entertaining, but please don't do a twist just for twist's sake. Make sure it makes sense with the movie. They didn't have to do all that. They hypnotize him, torture him. Like, come on. Whatever. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's still on Netflix. And I do TV reviews. I do movie reviews all the time. Follow me for more.